This is Nutrition with Julie, and I'm a registered dietitian. So today's topic is omega-3s. So you probably hear about omega-3s quite a bit in the media because it's just kind of all around, and we know so many people say they take omega-3s, but why exactly should we take omega-3s as a supplement, or why do we need omega-3s in our diet? Well, let's see if I can break some of that down for you today. So we need omega-3s exogenously, which means we cannot make those in our own body, so we have to get them from the foods we eat. And the same thing from omega-6. We need to get those from the foods we eat because we don't make them in our body. And we need both omega-3s and omega-6. Now, omega-6 are known to be pro-inflammatory, so they tend to create inflammation in the body, whereas omega-3s are known as anti-inflammatory, so they help to reduce inflammation in the body. And it used to be years ago, back in the day, that, Americans, or just in general as people, we had a pretty good ratio of omega-3 to omega-6. It's usually about, 1-to-6 ratio, so 1 part omega-3 to 6 part omega-6. Well, today's diet, they call it the standard American diet, our ratio is about 20 parts to omega-6, 1 part to omega-3, which means our body are more pro-inflammatory compared to anti-inflammatory. So that's the big boost, to get more omega-3s into our diet, so we can kind of shift that ratio and put us back into a better balance. Now, omega-6 are in so many different type of things. These are in nuts and seeds, a lot of our cooking oils that some people use, those vegetable oils like safflower, sunflower, corn, cottonseed. So having nuts and seeds are great. We're getting some of those omega-6, but it's just using too much of those cooking oils, and just omega-6 are in a lot of other types of foods as well. Could be a lot of processed packaged type foods. Whereas omega-3s we mainly get from fatty fish, such as salmon, sardines, mackerel, tuna. We could get some from vegetarian sources like chia seeds, flax seeds, and walnuts. But what the studies have shown is that our bodies are very good at converting the omega-3s from fish into the omega-3 pathway, whereas the walnuts, the chia seeds, the flax seeds, even though they contain some of those beneficial omega-3s, our bodies may not be best at converting it into the omega-3 pathway. But then again, every individual is different. So some individuals may be very readily convert those foods into omega-3 pathway, where others may not be. But we do know they're still beneficial for us, so it's still important to get some of those things. But the best way to boost your omega-3 intake is from those fatty fish. So like I said, salmon, sardines, mackerel, tuna. But I do say if you buy salmon, always look for wild, because there's a lot of preservatives and just food coloring and different things in Atlantic salmon. But whereas if you buy like sardines and tuna roll, that's a good way to get those omega-3 benefits. Now, one thing to keep in mind, so if you don't, not a fan of fish, like I said, you can do the chia seeds, the walnuts, the flax seeds. Those are other ways to boost your immune system. But just keep in mind with the flax seeds, in order to get those omega-3 benefits, they have to be ground up. Once they're ground up, you don't want to heat them. Okay, chia seeds are a little bit more versatile, and chia seeds are also a great source of fiber. So if you're looking to boost your fiber intake, then go for those chia seeds. Chia seeds are a little bit more versatile. They can be heated. They don't have to be heated. They can be ground up. They don't have to be ground up. So it's kind of a preference. And if you're looking for a couple different ways to get some chia seeds into your diet, you can do a couple different recipes. One is called chia jam. Basically, you just cook down fruit over the stove, add a couple tablespoons of those chia seeds, let it cool, and you've got your own homemade jam. And you can stir that into plain unsweetened yogurt. You can also make something called chia pudding, and the recipes out on Google are pretty much endless. It's basically just a ratio of chia seeds to milk, and you add your own sweetener that you like. Stir it, put it in the fridge overnight, you've got your own homemade pudding, kind of like tapioca-like consistency. So that's a way to boost your your omega-3 intake. And just one thing to keep in mind, so besides the omega-3s being anti-inflammatory, omega-3s are widely studied to reduce inflammation within the body. They're good for joint health, they're good for eye health, they're good for brain health. So many different benefits to omega-3s. And like I said, the main source of omega-3s is just that fatty fish. And we can get some from those other foods like the chia seeds, the flax seeds, or walnuts. And here's a little tip. So sometimes they say different foods kind of reflect a different organ in the body. So if you actually think of a walnut in its shell and you cut it straight in half, it kind of resembles the brain. So as omega-3s have EPA and DHA, which are very good for brain health, so you can think boosting your intake of walnuts, a handful or so a day, is good for brain health. So those good omega-3s. So hopefully that answered some of your questions today about omega-3. If you have any questions, please comment below or send me an email at nutritionwithjulie@gmail.com.